and we're the producers of The Kitchen Table. Welcome! Welcome to The Kitchen Table. This morning we have Kirsty from Honest Kirsty Blogger, and we've got Denise. Denise as our guest this morning. And the reason we asked you along, Denise, is because you're quite a phenomenal woman, actually, as far as I can tell in my eyes. I met you last September, which was at an event that we were both at, and I was totally amazed by your strength back then. I feel quite emotional myself, actually, even talking about it. When I met you at that event, I was immediately attracted to your personality and whatever, and we totally hit it off. We became friends from that day, really, in September. And you told me that your husband, Andy, at the age of 43, had suffered what became a massive stroke. He went from climbing Ben Nevis, mountain walking, hill walking, active, hardly drinking, hardly smoking, 43-year-old man at his work, and just your life changed in an instant. And when I met you, he was in hospital, still undergoing many brain operations, and he was in, I think, 3 weeks. We're now 5 months down the line, and we thought we'd invite you along today just to share with us your story and how your life changed, and now you're a carer full time, and just what your life is like now.
Yeah, it's just back in August the 21st, 2019, just went to work like a normal day. The hard working man, and he basically collapsed at work, working late. He collapsed at work about 5:30 p.m. and I was called by one of his work colleagues to say they'd called an ambulance to basically check him over and find out what was wrong with him, and then also be told he was getting taken to the hospital to emergency services, emergency department to get looked over. So basically I arranged to get my children looked after, and I made my way over there to find out what was happening. First of all, the first time I went in to see him, the first thing I did notice when I drew back the curtain, I could see that the left hand side of his face was slightly down at the mouth. He was quite delirious, not quite with it. And the first thing he said, which again, Andy very, very rarely drank, he just said, "My head's banging. I actually feel like this could be like the worst hangover you could ever imagine. I just feel horrendous." And even at that.
And he doesn't drink.
And doesn't drink.
That was how bad he felt.
And he's a very, very rare drinker. doesn't smoke at all, by the way. Not really smoke, doesn't smoke at all. And he's very fit and healthy. So for me to see a slouch to his face, the first thing you think of is a stroke and think, what's going on here? But at that point, the emergency department just kept on going on about his glucose levels were low, and they were saying, "Yeah, so he's diabetic." Yeah, and I'm like, "No, if he is, you tell me." So they kept on going on about that, but I was making it aware that, what's this slouch to his face, he's got this head,
so it wasn't,
dizzy,
it wasn't identified at that moment.
No, definitely
but
not.
because
that at all.
No. The only, and just correct me if I'm wrong, the only reason that you did suspect it is because of how we're educated in this country with stroke symptoms.
Yeah,
so I mean, he was only 43, but Denise, we could see that his face was.
And again, that his face might not have been apparent to the emergency services, again,
but it was to you.
But it was to me. That was the first thing I noticed, was that slouch to the left of the face. So that's why I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And also just that being kind of disorientated. And I mean, we know that from what's out there to the public just now, it's face, arm, speech and time. But there's a lot more other symptoms out there, affecting like the balance and the eyes, and that's what he said. He felt, I said to his work colleagues, he said, "I'm going to go down here." He actually knew he was going down. He didn't just like faint like that. He knew he was going down. He said, "I'm going to put something down, I'm going down." He said he just get quite double vision and really dizzy, and he just collapsed. And he just started being very badly sick. So being sick as well is another thing that people might not think about.
Oh, no,
being dizzy and sick.
No, I didn't know that either.
So he was very sick as well. But again, I feel that even the ambulance team and paramedics aren't as educated either, because the first thing they jumped on was blood sugar. They never thought, right, now this could be a stroke, this guy's balance and his sight and dizziness, this could be down to the start of a stroke. So yeah, so basically back to the emergency department. If it was pretty manic there, and there was different doctors and nurses and things like that in and out, and I'm just highlighting, look, he's very dizzy, sore head, sick, he said his vision's not good, you know. And I said, there's something not right here, I've just got a horrible feeling that something's not right. So eventually, after speaking to a couple of registrars, which I found out now the couple was a senior nurse, and so I thought she was a doctor, and just that much happening that I reckon I said to this guy, listen, he shouldn't be like this, like, from being healthy as is, I don't understand. And then so I think at that point, that registrar, and I was saying to him, because I was trying to stand back behind Andy, not worrying him, to go like with his face, like trying to say the highlight. So this other registrar arranged for a CT scan. So at this point I hadn't heard any results, so Andy took away quite quickly. Well, again, it was maybe all happened quite quickly, maybe about 3 or so hours later. Partly suspects a stroke was taken a lot sooner than that. To get a CT or whatever, MRI is not available out of hours as well, which is a bit of an issue which I'm looking at.
So
it's not available 24/7. No.
What?
No.
Is that just in that hospital, or is
No, that's in Scotland. There's only
Really?
one hospital in Scotland that do MRI 24/7. But even at that, the way he was presenting wasn't enough to justify taking him for one to
Really?
the other hospital.
So we know that because, and I do just want to mention this because it is a big part of your life currently, we know that because of the issues identified through your very own experience with the NHS and identifying that stroke, we know that you're pursuing some sort of dialogue with them to hopefully put some procedures in place to make a difference to that. And again, that is testament to your strength and who you are. So just fast forwarding a teeny wee bit, how long did it take then from, we know that they didn't identify it straight away, we've accepted that, how long did it take from admission to actual diagnosis of this, you know, massive stroke?
Over 30 hours. After them getting transferred between emergency department, medical receiving unit, acute receiving unit, ward 9, which is a ear, nose and throat ward, when they thought he had vertigo. And then obviously when everything started kicking off and it was basically kind of convulsing in front of my eyes, having like mini seizure, what it looked like, that's at that point they were talking about meningitis, stroke in more detail, get other CT scans done, all that sort of stuff. Everything moved very, very quickly. As I say, no other family involved at that point up at the hospital, purely down to the fact is we've told it was vertigo, it might feel a bit crap for a couple of days, and it might be a bit dizzy still for a few weeks, might not be able to go to work due to like a severe vertigo. But obviously we worked out quite quickly that it wasn't that, and we were sent down to the high dependency unit while he was away getting his CT scan. And then basically from there they came back and said, sorry, he's had a massive stroke and there's nothing that we can do.
So could
it was
they
30 odd hours later.
prevented the stroke from happening?
Well, again, this is the thing though,
We'll
there's
never
been
know.
so much, we'll never know that, and a lot of it is quite subjective because they'll say that, you know, he wasn't presenting as a normal stroke victim, he was kind of lowered down in this chart, there are different charts that they use, which I'm challenging.
But the thing, so what you're doing, I suppose, part of the answer to that question is that we'll never know, but what Denise is doing is campaigning. I mean, you've got your leaflet there, that's really important to get that in as well, as Denise has now taken on the role of a campaigner for symptoms of stroke in younger victims.
And for people to be more educated as well, I think it's mostly that, it's not even only that, it's like doctors not keeping you know, in the dark. Like there's things that I found out now that I never knew it was available. Things like he should have been given aspirin. We found out now the first CT scan that was given was amended, but we're still waiting to find out when was that. The one that was apparently clear, apparently that was amended the next morning, which would have been, say, about 10, 12 hours later. So he wasn't even given, I'm just waiting that specific time to come through, but he should have been given aspirin then. Or there's also this other treatment, thrombolysis treatment, which is not available in Scotland at the moment, but it is coming later on after the big campaign that was happening. So it's going to be available later on. But again, there's a 1 in 50 chance of that being fatal to somebody. But for me, eventually, at that point, you'd have took anything whether it been 1 in 50. You'd have took it. But even though that I had to be private or something, I felt that somebody should have made that apparent to me that was available.
No choice,
You know, you've got to be given a choice, and I felt like doctors were playing God pretty much. You know, they shouldn't keep people in the dark with these things that are available.
Yeah, and I know from knowing you that over the last couple of months, right from that point when I met you 3 weeks post the whole event, that you fought for surgeries, scans, everything, to get to the point now he is home, he is officially in rehab. Is that the right thing to say?
Yeah, well, pretty much. He's going through it at home now. As I say, it was in hospital nearly 3 months.
Yeah, let's not digress for everything that happened at hospital though, because how many brain surgeries did he have?
3.
Yeah,
and he's got a shunt in for life to basically take away his fluid from the
in his
brain.
brain.
So, but again, this only got made apparent by me again, pushing saying a deterioration in him when he was going through some more rehabilitation in hospital. But he's got that into life now.
Yeah, that's hydrocephalus, isn't it? Where
Hydrocephalus, yeah.
The reservoir collects the fluid and it drains into
so
the
it just
body.
drains in. So he's just basically now he's got 3 different scars on his head, but he's also got this scar on his tummy now where this goes in to his tummy. It just brings the fluid to there. So he's got that. I mean, physically wise, he's doing amazing. Like, but mentally, it's.
Yeah, I know, and we'll talk about that. But I mean, I follow you on Facebook, so I know how far physically he's come, because I know he wasn't even walking unaided after it happened. This is a young man, like I say, fit, 2 young kids, 5 and 10 year kids, Arlie and Lewis, you know, very active, and to go from, you know, out playing in the garden football with the boys to having to more or less learn to walk again.
Use any limbs for weeks and weeks. He just started to open his eyes after like 2 weeks, so it was just like, you know.
I know you hear, when I hear stroke, you always think of like an older person, but you hear they get over it, and it's just like impacting me now how it's not like was this a bad stroke, or is this just like a stroke? Do you know what I mean? Like,
the type of stroke that he had is only 2 to 3% of stroke that's severe.
Wow.
His was very severe. That's why you get a lot of people that have strokes that, okay, they might be quite weak down one side or whatever for a length of time,
but
or the rest of their life, but they still do stuff. Or there's so many different ways you can end up, like I met this woman as a midwife. She can no longer go back to work because she couldn't use her left hand properly, so her career was gone. And there's just so many different ones. Another guy, people that maybe work from home and they're on the phone a lot, fine, they can be maybe back to work, but again, how's their memory? And his memory's not very great, so even a job like that, he couldn't do it. And there's so many different aspects of a stroke that people just don't know about.
I didn't realise it was so destructive. Like,
yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like,
So he had all these surgeries that a lot of people haven't, but physically he's probably made a better recovery than some people that have not even been through the surgeries. They've been, their stroke wasn't as severe. That impacts so many different parts of the brain that it's a bit of a minefield. And I think as well, what I've learned as well is no 2 strokes are the same. So you can get yourself caught up in looking at stroke and thinking, oh, but that person was that and that person was that. You've got to really look at what's presented in front of you and work out, right, he's a bit of a conundrum with his memory and everything. Occupational therapists are saying, well, you can do this but you can't do that. That's strange. So it's a bit of an enigma. So they're learning a lot of things as well too.
And the other thing is, you're still learning every day. You don't actually know ultimately what the prognosis is, because just to take it back again, you were both working full time at the time. You're now a full time carer. Andy's now obviously not working at the moment, but your hope is that maybe some sort of work life hopefully will resume.
That's what we're hoping, some sort of a capacity we can, but we basically had chats with the occupational therapist yesterday, and I think they're just maybe being too hopeful, thinking April, May we'll hopefully get them back, because financially it's a drain, you know, because if you're not getting paid, all of a sudden you've got, you know, if you've got mortgage and bills to pay and just standard life that you normally have, no holidays that we wanted to have that they couldn't have, and just all lots of silly things, you know, and big things, but it's just the fact that they says to us that I think you'd be looking, that's too soon. I would maybe suggest September, October.
For working again?
For working again for him to, but it might not even be in the job he was in, it might be in some very low capacity somewhere else.
But listen, you've defied the odds so far, you know yourself.
So that to me was a wee bit like, right, okay, so I'll maybe need to think about going back to work full time, but at the same point, Andy is needing less and less support now. And I can start to leave him alone for an hour or 2 here and an hour or so there, but we need to work out what's that going to look like. And, you know, it's all a bit of a minefield just now, to be honest with you. But just taking every day as it comes really just now.
So you, Denise, let's talk about you and the impact that's had on you in your life and you as an individual, because Andy was the one that suffered it, and but at the same time he needed somebody to take care of him, and you became a carer in the drop of a hat, basically.
Yeah, it's like you just got to kind of, well, I don't know if everybody would do it, but for me it was not even a question, that I was going to be there. So it was hard because Andy was a very hands-on dad, and I had to start doing all the roles, like making sure the kids were dressed and fed and played with and took from A to B, everything that goes on with being a mum, running a house and being a taxi, and making sure they go to the clubs and making sure they went to school every day, they never missed a day of school, so everyone I'd be up, and so that's the thing that probably kept me going, was
They kept you going.
So it's hard. It's hard. It's
Oh,
not pretty
yeah.
by any means, but it's you've just got to, for me, I just felt I just went with that autopilot some of the time, and between all this I'm kind of trying to fight for them, and I feel like I'm arguing with doctors and nurseries and everyone else, just trying to push to not have anybody go through this, because it's just been horrendous.
And what about support?
Support wise, yeah, our family and Andy's family, are there and hand them letting us know they're there. But I think at times for me as well, I'm a wee bit like, I've got this, I'll take so much help, but
You're in control.
maybe so I'm in control of it, but at the same point, maybe I should get more help, or ask for more help, but that's just not my nature.
Yeah.
It depends on the type of person that you are. I'm quite used to doing, own thing, and I literally just went full time again. 2 days prior to Andy's stroke, I was part time for nearly 3-4 years, and only really had help with the kids for 1 day a week. I'd done it 6 days of the week. I was the one that was always doing everything, with no childcare, and I juggled everything between, the house, my work and the kids and all that. So it's it's been a big change, and obviously me thinking that that's me going back to full time, thinking, oh good, so financially we're going to have this bit more money coming in, because we basically took a cut for quite a while.
And you just had an extension bill.
The extension was still going on just when Andy had it. We were just literally trying to get everything kind of wrapped up. So again, I'm dealing with builders and painters and engineers and council, and trying to get things, electricians and leaks and God knows what else. So many other different things, car troubles and all that, all these things that I would turn around and go, Andy, help! But he wasn't there, so I had to find out things. And again, lots of Andy's friends, my friends, very good, helped me as well, and being there. So that helped as well.
You need your support network, I think so.
So I definitely had people to phone and rant to and go, oh help. But even at that, some friend relationships, I think, were a wee bit like come on, there's a lot worse people out there than you, and get a bit of tough love. But I'm like, you're not getting this.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Wild, yeah.
So
We don't like that in this table. We don't like people saying there's worse folk than you, like,
so
as if you're not valid.
people and, suck it up and all these different things. But I think a lot of these things you can't, until you're in that situation, you've got no idea, nobody's got any idea how you are and how your head's working, and constantly head going 10 to a dozen, trying to think, right, well, the kids have got to be their main priority, the kids, obviously Andy, and obviously I come down the pecking order, but when you're a mum, you always come last. Do you know what I mean? You always come last. It's the kids are man the house, and then you're down there somewhere. But even at that, I have recognised that no, I need to, go for a massage, or go and get my nails done. Or, I need to make sure I wash my hair because I've not washed it for 4 days.
And that's your self-care.
Do you know what I mean? Self-care. You've got to. Do you know what I mean?
No, I get that.
But I think for anyone watching, I think whenever you become a mom anyway, but I think especially when something like that happens, friends, family, the only question to ask is, what do you need?
Yeah, do you need?
What do you need?
I know judgment. I feel like judgment at times. Or she's not doing this. She's not spending enough time with the kids. Or she's not doing that. Or she's not doing this.
Yeah,
You're
she
finding
did have a lot
things. Oh, that's kind of going on, and I'm like, nobody's got any clue. Like I basically need somebody to go take the kids off you for whatever. you know, just
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
have a
Have a-
shower.
yeah.
You know, have a,
Yeah,
you know.
aye, just a shower, no,
Just have a
self-care,
shower,
it's
do you know
as
what I mean?
simple as
Like,
that, I know, and I can't imagine, I can't imagine at all what your whole situation must have felt like, because the only thing that I can compare it to is going from a 38-year-old single person to having a baby. That was bad enough
Yeah.
without,
Yeah.
you know, at least I had a bit of notice as well, but with you know, your life changed in an instant that day on the 21st of August, you know, and you suddenly become a carer for an adult that you'd never been before. But like you say, there was no choice in your mind anyway, and that's what we're like as human beings. You take on your challenges and you make the best of, you know, of your life.
I'd like to say yes. I don't know if anybody. I know of people who have left marriages. So I like when you say for you it's not a choice. Like you
I've
just
read a
go,
lot about that now. Yeah,
yeah.
some people just can't
I
have it.
feel the
imagine
same
it's
as well.
hard
Like
to-
so.
I get that too, I must admit.
Leaving,
I understand.
you know when you say you take your wedding vows, right? And usually you're quite young, and you go in sickness and in health,
Yeah.
and you go bloody hell. I hope it's health.
Exactly.
Or if it's sickness, then it's way later, right? We've
Yeah,
had
not
the
expecting
kids. It's just us. Whatever happens, happens. But bloody hell, when you're 40 and like you have 2 kids in charge, and then stuff happens. And yeah.
Yeah, because I was just 40, I was coming up for my 41st birthday. Didn't expect to be a carer at 40,
Right.
2 children.
You don't expect, I feel like you don't expect to lose your relationship. I'm not saying you've lost
Yeah.
it, but a lot of it's
Yeah,
changed.
a lot's
Like,
changed,
that's
Yeah.
huge in itself.
But a lot of that now is, and is able to communicate well and physically and just emotionally as well. You can do that now. Like,
Yeah.
but I never knew I was going to get that. But
Yeah,
as
it's
time
hard.
went on, you know, I've been getting the emotional support from him as well. Like, he understands everything that I've done for him and keeps on saying thank you.
Yeah,
So
That's
I
huge.
understand.
Wow.
So that's nice.
And I know that, and I hope you don't mind me
No,
saying
no.
this, I know that you've got intimacy
Yeah.
as well. I know that you're, you know, regardless of his disabilities, I know that you still have a brilliant relationship, and loads of people don't get that. God, I feel really emotional. I know loads of people don't get that, you know, and I just think that, again, I've said this to you, I've said it on Facebook, I've said it publicly, it's all testament to your the person that you are, the person that he is, your strength and everything that, you know, you're getting there. But you know, I totally recognise how difficult it is and has been for 5 months for you as well.
I have a bit of a controversial question for
Okay.
you. So I'm a big believer that life happens for you and not to you. So in every challenge for me, there's something to learn. Even if it happens to someone else, there's something in there for you. Do you find any blessings in the situation? Do you find anything that's made your life better in a way? Like, do you feel? I know
I
it's.
get that
I
point.
know. It's. Trust me. I know it's a tricky place to get to.
No.
But
What's the reason?
is there anything that's, you know, that you can tell? Okay, I can see. You know, like.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have got more spiritual through the journey as well, and I think that for me, that I think I'm a great believer in thinking everything happens for a reason, and probably we have spent a lot more time together than what we haven't done, because Andy was working all these hours, you know, I was juggling. So when Andy was working, he was working a lot of overtime and weekends, and so there'd go months where Andy was working every day, and I was, again, still seeing the kids, you know, in the house. I dealt with the whole extension as well for 3-4 months. I dealt with everybody, all the builds and everything. So I dealt with all that side of things. So that me was a big thing. So I suppose for now, I feel that we are spending a lot more time together than what we never got. So that's a blessing, which is nice.
When I met you, one of the things you said to me, it was either the first or the second time, was that you did think that it was meant to be and it was meant to happen like that, because one of the things you and Andy had talked about prior was spending more time together outdoors, doing more outdoorsy type stuff. So at that point you were already 3 weeks in, looking for the good things, you know, that would come from it. I mean, I know that you're still on a path to a very long journey, and I appreciate that. But again, it's just your positivity and everything about you that I think has brought it as far along the recovery process as it is.
I think you've got to, and I think it's one of these things that some people might just jump in their bed and put the covers over their head and go, I can't come out, I can't deal with it. But I've got two young boys that need me, so I can't do that, because I need to be there for them as much as I can. Okay, at times I might have been erratic, or, you know, obviously, like mentally as well, I struggled to get my head down a lot, and I might have sounded quite erratic at times, but I think that's a process and a path you've got to go through in your own mind to kind of work out there. I'm actually thought at one point I was cracking up. You know, but my doctor, like, Denise, you're not cracking up, but if you come in here, sing the joys of spring, I'd have put you over to Stop Hill and put you in. I mean, I'd have put you in bloody Stop Hill Hospital mental institution, but I said, no, I said, this is all natural. He said, the things that you're telling me and the way that you're dealing with this, keep going. So that we'll be here for you with the phone. The doctors were amazing. Even like the children's school were amazing, so they all helped me a lot, you know, support, and again through friends and stuff. So that helped me kind of backtrack and go, right, okay, that's this. So it's just a case of kind of processing a lot of things in your mind and thinking, right, okay, well, I can't do this just now, but I can maybe do that. And okay, I spin lots of plates, and people are like, slow down, Denise. But again, I felt a lot of people were looking at me about my magnifying glass, like going, oh, I can see you've been online at this time or that time, and I'm like, but I always done that anyway. I would wake up in the middle of the night and think, oh, there's an idea, I'll write that down. We've said this, we'll put you a wee message in a wee notepad to go, right, I can go to sleep now because I know that I can shelf that and check that tomorrow. It's
just that whole judgment thing, isn't it? Just people making judgments on
makes you think
what you're doing.
Do you know what I mean? But I think a lot of it I done anyway, but a lot of people didn't see that. They would just see fun, happy Denise night out. They wouldn't see that manic side of me that is quite, well, let's do this, let's do that. I'd always kind of jump to one thing to another quite a lot. That's basically the way I am. So I think maybe because I am like that, that's helped me.
So, you want to talk about your
so again, as I say, a lot of the campaigning that I'm starting to do, and as I say, I'm working with the NHS and get legal people involved and things like that as well, but it's really just to highlight that there is other symptoms that have not been made public yet, and it's just, as I say, stroke has no number. I even know young children that's had strokes. Really? A friend of mine's daughter had a stroke at a young age as well, which I didn't know you could have at that age either. But again, so it's the main thing is balance, loss of balance, headache or dizziness, right? Now again, that could lead into so many different other illnesses, right? Like the one they tried to say, vertigo, right? Or labyrinthitis, or whatever you want to call it. There's another couple of names for it. However you want to dress it up, vertigo, right? And your eyes, blurred vision is a big one as well. So again, blurred vision could mean so many other different things as well. But then it's just your face. One side of the face is drooping.
For me, that's the most recognizable.
Is that happening a lot?
Characteristic.
Apparently, but then the thing that annoyed me was getting an assessment by a stroke nurse. Now she just basically came in and went, can you do this, can you do that? I think she'd done something like that with his knees and was like, oh, that's it, you can do that. But you could do that, but he was still kind of like slunched to the side, so that's where your arm or leg weakness was slunched to the side. Even though you could do this and you could do that, but bearing in mind he had the balance issue, he collapsed his back, he had the blurred vision, hard to see, he had the headache, dizziness, he had the face drooping, the arm weakness, the slurred speech and things like that came a bit later. But it's like why his time was of the essence. I'm getting past about 30 odd hours to get diagnosed. As I say, it's because there is these other treatments out there like the thrombolysis, give them acid in the blood, all these different
but
things.
is there not that thing, I read something, I'm sure it was you that produced it online, that time is of the essence with stroke, because for every minute that passes, more brain cells are dying. So that's another reason
that's another big reason as well. And other evidence I found as well is like most neurologists at some point in their life have been took down some legal pathway due to a misdiagnosis as well. So I know people don't always get it right and what have you, but I think there's a lot more that could be done.
Yeah, I think a awareness about age would be a huge one, because I only think of 50, 60 up, probably 60 up. You know, you would never think of a kid or somebody in their 40s doing it. You just never see that at all.
No, you wouldn't.
So this leaflet, sorry, I was
Yeah,
just
no,
going to say, I'm just going to hold it up because this is your leaflet, the Be Fast leaflet, isn't it? So you are now campaigning.
Well, the Different Strokes charity, they've allowed me to put this out. So
Right.
the Different Strokes charity, they're just out there to prove that stroke has no limits, basically.
And that's something that you now working on.
Is there something that they can test now? Like if you have a heart attack, there's a certain biomarker in your blood. Is there something they can test for stroke?
Apparently not, no. And this is the thing as well, I think, which was a good thing recently, you know, like insurance companies as well, before you'd have to have a certain type of heart attack, a certain type of stroke or whatever to get paid out to pay. So if you've got insurance to protect your mortgage, there was for a long time, you had to have a specific condition. I mean, even my son, when he had kidney failure, it was acute kidney failure, the most extreme you could get, he didn't have the right type of kidney failure, so the insurance didn't pay out. But luckily with strokes now, the way it's all changed now, with strokes, heart attack, it doesn't matter what type of stroke, heart attack you have now, they pay out. So there's not really a test you can do for diabetes, or there's a test you can do for, there's a test you can do for diabetes as well that I think it's only like £10-15 it costs, and it's freely available, but there's numerous people out there that they'll only find out about diabetes when they get in a coma.
I think it's severe.
You know, so there's so many different things out there. Again, that's what I'm trying to campaign about as well, is that I think that, okay, the NHS stretches to the max, but I think the health professionals at least say to you, listen, this isn't available in the NHS, but did you know that this, that or the next thing is available privately, or something you might want to think about? Now, I think if anybody, there's so many GoFundMe pages and all these different things out there, I think if you found out this certain thing that was, whatever it was, say, they could help save your partner's or loved one's life, was 5-10 grand, you'd be right on there, going either right, I'll fling it in a credit card if you had one, or you'd be saying, help,
something.
you know.
I think that's like so common, though. I don't want to bash the NHS, but it's only after the fact when you do research and you're like, why is this not offered? Why? It's almost like people get complacent, or they don't care, or they're not up to date with research, or going to conferences, or
funding.
it just doesn't come through that they know, you know, up to the date medicine. Or like just with the midwife I went to yesterday was like, oh, have you tried this technique? And she was excited about a website, and I was like, that's only because she's interested, she's quite young and she's quite new, and she's like, you know, wants to really help. And I'm like, I don't get that vibe a lot, you know, from other, I'm not saying them all, but there just seems to be like this huge lack of,
it's complacency. I think a lot of it is, they're quite complacent, and I think it's just the NHS it does some brilliant work. I'm not totally bashing them here, but there's certainly a lot of pressure on the NHS, and they're stretched to the max. And I know it's the whole thing, should we follow America's lead and go down the more private route, or what should we do? I just feel there's not enough, and these are...
It's communication.
It's communication,
It's like basic human empathy.
Yeah.
I get that you can't treat everyone like your brother or your sister or part of your family, but every person, especially in a life-threatening situation, you kind of want to know that you're talking to someone who's like, has got your best interest at heart here. Like, this is your life. So I think it is like empathy and treating you at some point, like giving you a choice, right? Because when you arrive, and as you keep saying, everything happens really quick, so it's already difficult to get any kind of grip on the situation.
Because you're going through a trauma as it is, and you're like,
Exactly.
you're panicking and thinking, I'm going to lose a loved one here, but it's good to have somebody in your ear to go, by the way, I know this is maybe available, or have you thought about this?
This is guiding you through the choices. Like, this is what's going on, this is what's available. You know, like giving you some sort of.
All I could remember as well when my husband was in intensive care, or this charge nurse kept on taking me aside, just kept on saying, Denise, just remember, like, you're the boss of this situation. You know, you used to found each other, and you know, you're his wife, and just, you know, you can't be stuck at his bedside 24/7. You know, you need to look after you, and you know, he might not. It's more likely not going to be the same man that you had, and all this sort of stuff. And I always remember this, like she kept on saying, like, you know, just the self-care part she did. She was really good for that. Like, look after yourself, and you know, you're lying here, like he's in the best place just now. Look, you sitting next to his bed 24/7 is not going to help him right now. He needs these machines. He needs the care and attention of the nurses and doctors. Like, you know, if he comes through this, that's when he will need you most, when you get him home and whatever else. So that's why I found myself doing a lot more other things, like making sure that the house over my head, making sure Andy's wages were in the right place, making sure my bills are paid. The last thing I wanted to do is get all these letters coming through the door saying you've missed your mortgage, you've missed your gas, electricity, because then you're having to deal with all these other companies individually.
But that is a very real issue that you need to consider.
People are just saying, oh, let's just see how Andy is, and you know, that's all that matters. And I'm like, well, no, really, because I work in finance and I know that these things can get out of hand very quickly, and if you're not on top of them, you know, the amount of stress that can cause a person as well. Like, just to speak with people daily, you know, when certain tragic things would happen, how the impact they'd have, and listen to so many sad stories that, because I've dealt with that as part of my job, I just knew for me as well, I thought, I don't need that. So for me, that's a big thing, making sure all these other things are taken care of. But again, that's just luckily that was my background. What other poor people that have not, and they quickly just fall into this losing,
and it does have
everything comes crashing down.
But that's part of self-care as well, I think, just knowing, like, getting and also I love that, is it a nurse who said, like, you know, look after yourself, and because he's not maybe the same man as he was, but you're not the same woman you were either. That's the thing, like, being married, you just go through that together, and not, it's two sides of the coins, but still, like, you're changed as well, like, it changes you. And coming to grips with, like, the person that you are now, that's a whole journey in itself as well. And like, I get how, like, things like bills and stuff, like, have a grounding maybe like that you need at that point. I love that, actually. That you actually were able to do that.
But it's even as well, like, again, what a lot of nurses kept on saying is, like, Denise, he'll not remember being in intensive care, he wouldn't remember being in, you know, this ward for 5-6 weeks, but you'll remember the trauma, you'll remember trying to get him diagnosed, you'll remember seeing the hospital every day, you remember, you know, this day didn't move anything, this day, oh, he moved a finger, or next day, oh, he moved a toe, you know, all these different things. Like, you'll experience all that. I've showed Andy videos of him as well, and he's like, that wasn't me. And I'm like, yeah, it was. He's like, that's so scary. Like, you know, like, he's like, I can't remember any of that. So he's been quite protective, which is, again, how amazing the body works. Like, you know, the brain, it's kind of protected him almost from a lot of it. Because he can't remember a lot. Because he's like, I only thought I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. Like, no, Andy tried me like 3 months. You know? A lot happens in that time. He went in, it was kind of, well, Scottish summer, and came out, and it was like, wasn't it?
I'm laughing, I never thought of that. But you're right, because the 21st of August was the day the schools went back, as we've talked about, and it was a nice day. It was a nice summer's day. So he came out in November, didn't he?
He came out in November, November
and it was winter,
10th, I think it was. And so for him to obviously go in, the trees are all nice and green, he came out, the leaves are everywhere. Their gardens are right as well, when we've got loads of big mature trees in our garden, so we leaves everywhere. And he's like, how long was that? Like, I thought I was in there for a few weeks. And then people are asking, what day is it, what year is it? And he's like, I've got no idea. But again, you know, when it's like, when you're off on holiday, you forget what day it is.
It's hard to
if he's been off for so long, that's just a natural thing that you know, what day is it? The only reason I know what day it is sometimes is the school, because you know, Monday I can't get gym, and a Tuesday I don't get gym, and you know.
I never know what date it is. I'm quite happy to admit that. I'm always saying to Keith, well, what's the day's date? Never mind anything else. But anyway, listen, thank you so much, Denise, for coming to speak to us about that. I have no doubt that things are going to be amazing for you and Andy, simply down to the attitude that both of you have. And I would hope that you can come back and speak to us at the table sometime soon.
No problems.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you.